Hello everyone, I'm Milind Kelkar, Chief Analytics Officer at Unpeople, and welcome to today's video on qualitative data analysis. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, ChatGPT. I'm sure in the last 1 year, all of you would have experimented with ChatGPT in some form or other, especially for qualitative data, word transcripts, image coding, and other aspects. And some of you would have faced challenges, some of you have questions, some of you feel that ChatGPT is not really meant for qualitative data analysis. So let's talk about what issues, problems researchers have faced and what are the possible fixes for this. So if you're a qualitative researcher, social scientist, customer insight manager, and if you're working on word transcripts, memos, social media reviews, customer feedback, images from which you need to extract information in terms of occasion, style, and other aspects, then I think this video is right for you. So traditionally, if the route to insights has been making a list of all analysis questions, making a list of all cohort details like socioeconomic classification, age, gender, usage, you read through all the transcripts and you create codes, possibly summaries, and you're converting those codes into categories or themes. And some people directly create themes directly by reading the transcripts. And this is the overall flow that you're looking at. Then let's look at the flow from a ChatGPT perspective. What we're going to use today is we're going to use demo data for usage and attitudes towards spend by students. And what we know is in the last 1 year has been extremely excitement. As you can see, there have been so many large language model providers. There's Cohere with the largest token size. There's Google Duet AI, Hugging Face, Claude, and of course, Microsoft Copilot and ChatGPT. For today's session, we're going to talk more about ChatGPT and all the software applications such as Copilot that are built on top of ChatGPT. So why did ChatGPT not work for you? One possible reason is a lot of you have concerns on the ethical aspects of data privacy, confidentiality, that needs to be handled. Second is a lot of researchers have not found the results to be accurate or reliable or dependable. Three is it's not been transparent. Some of the outputs have been extremely interesting, but you have no idea of the lineage of how the data is translated into the recommendations or insights or summary. And lastly is most of it did not find the route to ChatGPT, the time-saving aspect of it. In fact, some of you feel that you're spending more time than you would have just read through manual reading of transcripts. So let's look at the steps one by one. One is the ethical and privacy concerns. So what to watch out for? You have the issue of data privacy, personal identifiable information that is present in all your data. There's the issue of taking permission from the respondents in sharing the results with analysts or AI or ChatGPT. So there are these two major aspects. And the whole point of the way to handle this is that you would have handled this in an offline world. So it's not a really big concern. So you of course, still need to anonymize your data, remove the PI information. You should have taken consent from the respondents at the start of the interview that some of them will be analyzed by AI tools. You can use VB macro in Excel or in Word, or you can use a scripting language such as Python to remove all PI information. And of course, you can have a manual search and find, and if you know specifically that these are the names, this is the information. For example, there's some information could be brand related, it could be product names, it could be launches, campaign names, celebrity names. So you could remove those from those searches. Yeah. In ChatGPT, you have an option, even if for the free version, if you were to go to settings data controls. You can look at chat history and training. So you can unblock this and prevent ChatGPT from learning from any data that you upload onto the tool. So this is available in the free version as well as in the paid version. And if some of your clients have much more stringent data privacy requirements, then you can use the Azure ChatGPT version, which is available online, and they have GDPR and other certifications already done, which you can assure your client that it follows all nomenclature that is required. And so, second is accuracy. Accuracy and reliability of the outputs compared to what a human researchers would go through. I think one of the biggest watchouts when it comes to ChatGPT is token size. Even humans or a qualitative researcher can read information only one sentence at a time or line by line coding, what we call it. So it's the same is true, and it depends on what version you have taken, whether you've taken the free version or the paid version. There is a limit to 3,000 to 25,000 words that ChatGPT or the applications that work on ChatGPT can digest. And the way to interpret the tokens is there are apps available on online. You can go to OpenAI website, check out what the token limit is. But the rough size is that assume that 2/3 of your characters with space in Word document is what ChatGPT will analyze. This includes both the input text data as well as output text data. So if you whatever you put in and whatever outputs you desire, the token size includes both of them. It includes both interview response, question and responses, and it also includes the desired structure. So you would have wanted, for example, some additional information from ChatGPT in terms of output. Even that's included in the token size. So you need to be careful about token size. If you're crossing the limit, ChatGPT will automatically truncate that information and look at only part of the information to analyze it. So that's something that you need to be very cognizant of. What you can do is you can open your Word document or Excel file, and you can look at the word size below. You get a rough approximation how many files can you upload, and plus what is the kind of outputs you want from each of those files to do it. So what we have found is if you are uploading a raw transcripts directly into ChatGPT, though it's extremely convenient, the large token size typically reduces accuracy for multiple reasons. One is the token size. The second is your data may have multiple similar questions. So, for example, I may have questions on likes for sample A, likes for sample B, likes for sample C. So it's very difficult for ChatGPT to know which block of text to analyze and extract and take it out from there. So how do we prevent it? I think it's very important that you should do some pre-work before you upload the data for into ChatGPT and what we call data sorting. So this is a typical output where you have respondent ID, some court information in case you're looking at court level differences, and for a given question, let's say amount of money spent on stationery products. You have all the conversation that the respondent one has spoken in this particular block. Now you can go block by block, line by line, feed into ChatGPT to generate codes, to summarize information, and extract it. I think the beauty of ChatGPT is the summary comes very high quality than what you would do using other AI tools. Yeah. So reducing your multiple moderate question that we saw earlier into a single analysis question reduces your input text data requirements into ChatGPT considerably, in fact, close to 50%. So that is something that approach you can do. Two is, of course, you sort the data. So you can have an algorithm which says, a logic which says, first I'm going to analyze ID1 for amount of stationery products. ID1, I'm going to look up likes of sample A, so on and so forth. So data sorting definitely helps in fixing the problem on accuracy to a considerable extent in our experience. Third issue is transparency and explainability. ChatGPT generates a lot of output, especially if you have done some sequence analysis or some complex structuring or extraction that the linkages you're doing, for example, knowledge graphs, and you'll sometimes discover that ChatGPT has come up with outputs which are absolutely fantastic in terms of recommendations. What you need to do is you as the researcher need to validate those conclusions, those recommendations with valid codes or extracts from the data. And that's where the challenge comes. And what we call that as hallucination. So if you have uploaded a transcript data, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files simultaneously into ChatGPT or some of the softwares that are built on ChatGPT, you'll realize that for a given question that you ask, ChatGPT has summarized, for example, that the answer is avoidance of dark and paper stains. Now you're looking at some validation for this recommendation for this summary, and ChatGPT will provide you the codes. But when you search for this codes, when you search for dislike for gel pens, brand 4 is chosen for its fluid system, you'll discover that it does not exist in the code at all. And that becomes a challenge for you. Seeing it questions the whole legitimacy of on what basis a ChatGPT come up with this response or come up with these conclusions, right? And that's where the time consumption part of comes in. So quote one in this two in this case has been made up by ChatGPT and does not originate from your uploaded transcript data. So that's hallucination. So when you're working for it, you should always ask for proof and do some random validation to know if you are on track or not. Follow some prompting best practices to ensure that. So of course, provide some background information on what you're doing, what is the background of the study, which is the category, what is the specific analysis that you require. If you have technique in mind, be it grounded theory, narrative analysis, discourse analysis, content analysis, to specify that. As I said, be very clear what your analysis question is. Don't pump in too many analysis questions at the same time. And also pinpoint ChatGPT or the associated software to what aspect of the data needs to be analyzed. If you are asking ChatGPT to search through all your word transcript, ChatGPT is not a search algorithm. It's a summarization algorithm. It's very good to analyze and restructure the text input it has to read. So if you can cut down and slice and provide only the relevant piece of information that it needs to look at, then I think the quality of output becomes phenomenal. You should also verify the outputs, and especially ChatGPT, the initial time, it takes time to fine tune what you're doing, and you should fine tune the instruction till you get accurate outputs. But once you get it, be on the same prompt, and you can keep start inputting data in the same prompt one by one to generate all the outputs that you need, all the summaries that you need. Third is the issue of time saving and versus time consumption. So if you are a qualitative researcher who feels that you need to look at, your end state is a coded transcript. So in a normal offline world, without the use of ChatGPT, you would have read through the transcripts, you'd have coded the transcripts saying that this stands for nib point, this stands for thickness, this stands for good handwriting. Uh, but you discover that that's not the output that ChatGPT or the associated software have given. So that is definitely an expectation mismatch that happens when you log into the tool. Some researchers are used to an Excel output, right? And some of you have explored ChatGPT 4 for feeding in data in CSV or Excel and or Word and try to get an output in an Excel format where you have respondent level information, the analysis question, the code for each of the codes. So this again, some of you would have discovered that the desired output really doesn't come in the fashion that you want. There could be some inaccuracies that lead to it. Some of you would be interested in the auto summaries. Right? You're not interested in qualitative coding, but you really want to summarize large blocks of text to get the gist of what was spoken or communicated. And it could be that what are the drivers for preferring the current ownership of pen. And this is the desired output where the summary is in form of grip and control, brand smoothness in writing. So auto summary is something that you wanted in the end state, and that's what you have asked for. So what are some of the issues that you face is not, you still need to do some work once the output of ChatGPT is generated, and still needs to use some offline tool to condense and do it. And hence, a lot of them have complained that have I spent more time in versus vis-a-vis just simply reading the file and generating the summary or the output. So what is the way forward for some of you who have experimented with it? Of course, most of you are still sticking to either your existing qualitative data analysis tool. They have been appended with keyword-based AI tools, which gives you some comfort because you're doing some initial coding and the tool is replicating that analysis. But in our experience, it still takes a lot of time to work on the tool and the software to get the desired outputs. To ChatGPT manual, where you are copy pasting blocks of data into the free version of the software, ensuring that data privacy controls are in place. For all those researchers, ensure that you follow the best practices in prompting, and do ensure that you have some offline automation support to get the desired output. Three is you can use the ChatGPT API version. So you can directly upload a file using a pipe, what is known as application interface, by which you can upload all your 20, 30, 100 files directly into ChatGPT for it to process and provide you a finished output. These are still in initial stages. Our experience has been that for a given study where the prompts are proven and it works fantastic, but somebody needs to keep a watch on the price per token because it works on how many words does your file contain, right? And if you're not budgeted or estimated for the price, then this can throw some surprises in terms of your billing. So there's a watch out in terms of billing. Otherwise, it's a great tool for automation. Fourth is there are myriad software tools available, beginning with Copilot, which works. A lot of them have token size limit. They are semi-automated, like we discussed. They are great, but in our experience, they work best if your data is sorted. And the only output is for all your instructions. Keep an option to keep verifying whether the prompts are still working or not, and whether the prompts are going to deteriorate or not. The last option is outsource services. There are a lot of agencies like us who have mastered and built applications on top of ChatGPT, both on the online space and the offline space. And we have learned a way to optimize the data. We don't feed in all the raw data. We provide a filtered information to the data to use it for its great strengths, and whatever the weaknesses are, we have some other way to analyze it. So that works best. Some of them cost will be close to $25 or $50 per transcript. So that is something that works out, then you should try it. Thank you so much for attending the session. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. Thank you once again.